We begin with the tragic events unfolding in the Maritimes. A young person has died after heavy rain and thunderstorms battered parts of Nova Scotia, triggering a series of flash floods across the Annapolis Valley.
Last night, July 11th, at 7:40 p.m., Kings District RCMP received a report that a youth was pulled into a water-filled ditch at a park on Highland Avenue in Wolfville and disappeared under rushing floodwaters. The youth and 3 friends had been playing at the park when flash flooding occurred in the area.
Emergency services, public works crews, and volunteers frantically searched the scene, diverting the area's water drainage system before locating the body around 11:30 p.m. No details have been released on the victim's identity. The destructive floods were caused by the remnants of Hurricane Beryl, a torrent of water swallowing roads, inundating homes, and overflowing rivers. Environment Canada says more than 100 millimeters of rain fell within hours in some areas. The Premier today describing it as a devastating day for the province.
There is tremendous infrastructure damage throughout the valley. We'll rebuild that. That will be rebuilt, but none of that will replace the loss of a young life.
For more on this, we turn to CTV Atlantic's chief anchor, Todd Battis. A very difficult day for everyone there, Todd. What more can you tell us about the circumstances and the area where this happened?
Hi, Heather. Well, look, this was an area that is adjacent to Acadia University. It was a ball field. We spoke to the mayor of Wolfville, who tells us it was an extremely difficult search for this youth, this child who went missing and was later found in a ditch where he had been swept away by the rain. And it fell like a deluge in very fast order. This was approximately 100 millimeters of rain that fell in just a couple of hours, so you can appreciate the extent of the damage that would create. Immediately, the fire department search and rescue was called in, but it was a very difficult search. The sun had basically gone. It was very dark, and we saw backhoes were brought in. There was a couple of different ways in which the water was running off, so that made the search that much more difficult. And finally, a couple of hours later, they did find the remains of the child. And in a small community like Wolfville in the Annapolis Valley of Nova Scotia, it is certainly a very hard hit.
Absolutely, Todd. And unfortunately, they're familiar with this. Just about a year ago, flooding in a similar area.
Yeah, almost a year to the day, Heather, and this was historic flooding in Nova Scotia that people called like a 500-year flood, and that was deadly as well. It caused tremendous damage from the Halifax area right up until the first area of the Annapolis Valley. And people thought, this was something that they wouldn't see again for a very long time, nor had they before that. Well, it turns out here we are almost a year to the date, and we're right back into this kind of situation. Premier Tim Houston said that they had to enact the emergency preparedness desk 7 times for different events in the past couple of years, and in previous years that had only been done a couple of times in maybe a decade.
A very tough couple of years for that province. Todd, thank you for this.